Hey there, Forever Dog listeners. I'm Michael Wolf.
And I'm Colin O'Brien. And we're the hosts of America's loudest podcast, Literati!
Sorry. We are recording in the library. Literati is a podcast about books and the idiots who write them, featuring real readings from some of your favorite authors.
And some of your favorite comedians pretending to be authors.
Mostly that one. Plus, we dole out tons of amazing, unsolicited writing advice because we believe everyone has at least one great novel in them.
Hey, just last week, I had to get a novel surgically removed from my small intestine.
I accidentally sat on my bookshelf, and now I have 3 good novels inside me.
Very impressive. New episodes of Literati are premiering on Monday, February 4th, and every Monday after that until we die. And that is contractual.
Stick around until after the show to hear a special sneak preview of our interview with comedian Josh Sharp reading under his pseudonym, Clint Dimples.
And be sure to subscribe to Literati on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And that's the end of that chapter.
Before we get to this show, I want to tell you about BetterHelp.com. That's a website, you could tell by the .com part, and it is a place to go with your feelings. It's an online counseling center that you can access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get matched up with a licensed therapist that can help you with all your problems, all of them. Do you understand me? So go to BetterHelp.com, use the promo code TRACKS for 10% off your first month, and get started on today's a new day, a new you, Jennifer. Just talk to them. Let them know that today is the day you need to take care of your issues. I sound like I don't care, but I do. And that's the thing. Maybe I sound like, if I sound like I don't care about you, that's probably because you have issues, because I care about you. So if you're hearing this and you're like, Alice doesn't care about me, that you need to go to BetterHelp.com and talk to somebody about that problem that you have, because we're all here for you. We want you to be better. BetterHelp.com.
Forever Dog. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
And you can talk, you can talk at any time. No, you don't want to. He says he's not gonna. Nope. Zippity zip. Zippity zip it and clip it. Throw it away. There you go. Very unsatisfying for our listeners. There's no way for them to see what was happening. So I'm going to introduce our guest now that we've been talking for 25 minutes. Guys, you know her from her organization, which I had here, but I don't.
It's fine.
It has like a Klingon name. Urok.
You are okay, but yeah.
Oh, I pronounced it Urok. I was like, it must be Klingon.
I appreciate you thinking
sense.
that.
I was
Thank
like,
you
oh,
so
yeah,
much.
she must be into like Klingon or whatever. You're okay. Her fabulous, critically acclaimed web series, Neurotica. Please welcome to the studio today, guys, the person I've already been talking to for 25 minutes, Jenny Jaffe.
Jaffe.
Jenny Jaffe. You said it at the same time as me.
No, it's all good. Hello. Hi, Elise.
I said your name. Thank you. Alice. It's Alice. Touche. There you go. Yeah, they liked it. Our signature sound effect is laughter way later than it should be.
Well, you can see, but Alex just like rolling on the floor. This is so funny to him. He is laughing so hard.
That's why this show is so unsuccessful, is because we, I think it's successful for me, but like, I think for the fans, it's like, because I think I'm doing the best bits possible, because Alec and Brett are always like dying. And then I'm like, if I listen to it later, I'm like, this sucks.
You know,
but
a podcast bit is good when it kills in the room.
Yes. But I love listening to my own podcast, to be perfectly honest.
I love that. I love that you love that, and I love that you're honest about that, because I think way more people like listen back to themselves on podcasts than are willing to admit.
Really?
I definitely do, but it's
narcissistically will.
always as
And
a thing
I'm
of
always
like,
masturbating, right?
yeah.
Of
Oh,
course.
always.
Yeah, every
No,
time.
but to me, it's like I have to listen back to know whether or not I can, like, post it and feel confident about myself,
Right.
because I'm like, I said something wrong. I forgot. Like, again, this is the OCD thing. I'm like, I forgot I said that like horrible thing about a specific person loudly on the radio, which is a thing I would do. And like, it's not, but like, I have to, listen back to make sure.
Yeah, but you're afraid, and I get that. And so with the OCD thing, you have actual OCD.
I do.
So were you like during that time when everybody was saying I'm so OCD and it was just like a weird turn of phrase? Were you
like
soups annoyed or?
I feel like when it was at its
peak?
I feel like that's still a thing people say. Like, I'll tell them I have OCD and they'll be like, oh my God, me too. I'm so OCD. I have to have my car clean or else I'm like very upset. I'm like, cool. Okay, same. I don't know. I guess it probably should bother me more than it does. Because everybody's trying hard and dealing with stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Nobody's saying it out of a place of malice, and I don't wish actual
true.
OCD on anyone. So it's like,
true.
I'd rather you think you have OCD than actually have it.
It's true. It's also part of our colloquial, like, extreme language for
Right.
things. Like, if for some reason in the common, like, for some reason people's vernacular, like, it makes sense daily for people to be like, it's literally genius. Like, things that are not.
Right.
Like, I was dead from dying. Like, I was physically dead.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's, for some reason, accompanied by a vocal fry.
No, we only have like language for extremes. Things are the worst or they're the best. And I'm totally guilty of that too.
Yeah. Where I feel like in the 24th century, everything's very neutral.
Right. People
That's the fad.
That's the hot fad. I do love that about Star Trek, just as a show and as a series. Like, people don't get that excited about stuff.
They also, my friend Danny points out that there's no one, it's no fun. Like, there's no senses of humor. Like, the jokes are awful.
Well, they try to, because they always do like an interstitial at the. It's basically like a cold open that they'll do where it's like, this is the funny bit, and it's like this.
So you have watched Star Trek. You're a fan.
I am. I consider myself an original series fan primarily.
Wow. Oh, you're one of our few. So that's interesting.
I'm strongly in the minority, and I've really come around to Picard is the better captain, but the original series is the better show.
Respect.
That's genuinely how I feel. I'm sorry.
Honestly, very first person on our show to have that opinion.
I think it's just because
we both have our hands up, like complete, like we're both surrendering and also ready to fight.
Yeah, we're both being held at gunpoint right now, being forced to give our opinions on this voluntary podcast.
So peace loving. We're peace loving people.
Now we both
I'm
have
also
our hands.
fucking mesmerized by your jewelry. We're gonna have to talk about that.
Thank you so much. I love accessories. You may have noticed.
I love the way you love them. You love them right.
Thank you. I am overdressed to everything all the time, and I've decided I'm fine with that being the case, because in LA it's like you can only be overdressed. Like,
I'm so mad that I didn't wear my coat that I just bought in here to show you.
Well, I want to do a picture.
I'm going to totally get a picture. We'll figure it out. Anyway,
this is our fashion podcast.
Well, it is a fashion podcast. So rarely is it one.
Yeah. Well, we should talk fashion because I have some thoughts about the fashion this episode.
Yes, and this would be a good one for that.
There are some like serious coats. Serious coats.
Like, I like the idea that you're part of some sort of like underground, like dirt poor alliance or coalition, and they're like, what's our uniforms going to be? Well, we don't have much. How about sick leather jackets? All of us, everyone, identical sick leather jackets.
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, can some of us have sleeveless ones? And they're like, of course.
Yeah, sure.
So much money.
You can, pal. No, like, I love that they have uniforms of any kind.
Yeah.
Like, truly the fact that they are thinking about how they're going to look cohesive and cute is very nice. And like amazing, like blunt bangs.
Oh,
just like,
okay, we'll get there.
We'll get to the haircuts.
But original series, you were
Original
saying.
series. Yeah, I do. So I do have a lot of love for the original series. It was like a thing. I don't totally know why I loved it as much as I did, but it was like a thing my grandpa was really into.
Awesome.
So it was a thing like we were both into, which was nice to have. And I was just like a very voracious consumer of TV, like as a teenager. And I mean, I still am, but like truly, I will never have the extent of TV education that I got as like a lonely 15-year-old.
Yeah. You were only child.
No, I had a sister, but she was like a video game
didn't matter.
person. She didn't matter. No, I just, I mean, like, again, I'm very open on this about with like You Are Okay and stuff, but like I had a lot of time where I wasn't in school because of mental health issues and stuff like that. And I just watched TV and like Star Trek. I watched a lot of like older TV too. And Star Trek was, something that's really seminal. And so I just watched the original series, and it's so campy.
Yes.
And it's the first to do all the things that it did. And that's the coolest. And I also think that I'm very, I love what Gene Roddenberry was trying to create, which was a utopian vision of the future in ways where it's not like technological advancement isn't what's going to make us great as a species. It's realizing that we're all going to have to live together. And and kind of, I think it's
very simplistic.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Like the criticism is that it's simplistic and it's such it's like an imperialist point of view of putting aside our differences because, essentially, the captain's still a white guy, and everything. And it's like the power structures are still very much intact. However, it was the first stab in pop culture of something like, and it's a revolutionary idea. And there were revolutionary like casting decisions and plot decisions that made such a huge difference in people's lives when it first came out. And also I would say like watching it when you're young, like I saw it on TV when I was younger, I remember being struck by how different it was visually from anything else that I'd seen. Like the sets, everything, like it was like I Dream of Jeannie on steroids. Like every set is just like go crazy because it's another planet, And I loved that.
No,
that was amazing.
I love the amount that it's like theater kids like doing like
theater kids.
It's and it's like so unencumbered by any sense of irony about itself. Like it is so really pure and like for better or for worse. And I think that's what people don't respond to about it now. If you didn't like grow up with it in some way, because it is like, but it's the reason that all these tropes exist. It's the reason that we think that all of this is kind of like
it's true.
Played out.
We've been rewatching it for the Patreon. Well, I didn't really watch it in the beginning. Well, like not in the beginning because I wasn't alive yet, but I didn't really ever watch it in the first place. I've been a Next Gen stan for this whole time. So we've been watching it and doing a Patreon about it, and kind of it's getting better. Like we started out season 1 and there were some doozies in terms of like just the episodes were like the women are always like either like starved for sex or whatever, and they're just like, Captain, I'm drunk because I'm so stupid.
I have so many thoughts about that in this episode in particular because it's like this is a thing. This episode, I don't know if you want to like if you have like a segment. Okay, because so the thing about this episode that really struck me is that it hits a note that Star Trek hits a lot, which is women love stoic men who know facts.
Yes.
And I feel like that comes right from the writers. And again, there were actually some fantastic female writers who wrote on both series of
we don't know anything about that, so this is a great
there were women on the writing staff of the original, which I think is very cool because
the original series. Fuck.
And I'm gonna
amazing.
I am very upset that I'm blanking on her name right now.
That's okay.
It is a name that starts with initials, and I'm gonna figure it out. And
I thought you were saying like a name that's starts with letters, and I'm like,
well, it does. Wait,
names.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I have to do this guys. Right now.
Don't worry about it. I've got this soundboard here to rescue us.
Thank you.
We'll put on some nice looking for it music. How about,
DC Fontana. There it is.
Oh yeah,
Thank
we've
you.
heard of DC Fontana.
Yes.
Oops, I didn't mean to add more sounds. Okay.
But this episode definitely like strikes this chord where it's definitely like some of the guys in the room, and I'm not gonna, I'm sure they were all nice or whatever, but I'm also sure they were kind of super nerdy, and they were like, women just can't stop with us. Like, this is what women like.
Women are generally just like, this is my nerd voice. When a man with incredible knowledge of the systems, onboard systems, it's something that is the female brain doesn't have the capacity for that. So
it's very exciting for a woman to hear somebody talk about something she couldn't understand on her own.
Yeah, if you look into a lady's eyes and tell her, this what this phaser can do, she's going to be thinking about phasers. Yeah, if you know what I mean.
Let's just say she'll energize.
Okay, this bit is.
But that's
fantastic.
exactly what this is and because women throw themselves at Data a lot, and women throw themselves at Spock like crazy. And to be fair, I get it. Leonard Nimoy was hot.
Well, and Leonard Nimoy. Yeah, but here's the other reason I think that might be the case is like context for me is like maybe you can imagine this, like women are surrounded by Kirks in reality.
Yes.
Like all day, all time. Everybody they work
it's like
with
the
is
guy
trying
who's
to be
not
Kirk.
hitting on them. Yeah.
Like everybody's trying to be Kirk all the time. And so they're seeing Kirk and McCoy. Oh, Jesus, McCoy. McCoy's the worst thing about.
I love McCoy.
I fucking hate McCoy. I hate him so much.
I have like a deep well of love for DeForest Kelly though. Like to me, I'm like, wait, why do you hate McCoy?
He's constantly being mean to Spock.
Yeah, it's like part of their adorable dynamic. He's like Southern and roguish.
Yeah, but he's like, it's the 24th century. It's crazy that he's like, I don't want to go in a transporter. What?
He's old timey. He stepped right out of a Western.
That's bananas. That's like somebody in our time being like, I don't want to use a telephone. It's like not even a landline. No, like they have advanced so far past transporter beams at this point that it's crazy that he's still upset about transporter beams. I know, but I have to. This is the one thing I will get geeky about. But also, he's just grumpy and like he also. I don't like when he gets pervy.
They all get pervy.
They all get pervy, and he's such a like patriarchal person that I'm like, ugh. But I will say all of them being pervy and kind of like alpha-y, and then Spock coming along and being the one guy who's like, oh yeah, I don't really care about that stuff. It's like, of course you'd be attracted to that guy.
That's fair. It is like kind of like, oh gosh, he's like a challenge. Like the one guy I kind of can't have, like who physically doesn't want me and can only really have me when he's on his period. Like
all day, all night. So that's, and I was a total Data head when I was younger. I wanted to fuck Data.
Well, Data's I also think like for young girls, this is a very safe kind of guy to have a crush on. Like,
oh my God.
To be like, oh yeah, like he's not going to try anything. Like he's just going to be like nice and smart. And like he has all the like things on paper that I want. And,
you're blowing my mind. And he's stronger than everybody else.
And he's strong. He's secretly strong. Spock too. Like, they have like all this within them.
Yeah, I'm melting. I'm melting whenever he's like, what? Oh, I'll take care of it. And then he just like holds the person like or whatever, or like picks up a car and it's like, yes.
Yeah, it's great. But he's so mellow about it. And he's not
so
show-offy. And like there's like a complete mastery over emotion where it's like this is very safe for me to pin my, I think it's like a Legolas thing. It's like, oh, that's a safe place for me to pin my teenage fantasies.
Wait, back it up.
Because okay, great. We can
that's no orc horn I hear. Because Orlando Bloom, as we all know, is like whatever.
But as Legolas,
he is my actual, like, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I was like, how is that a person?
He's a beautiful, like, Barbie, but like he's slightly male. So you're like, oh, I think I understand this now.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely get it.
Like, I saw it and I was like, oh, this is what my sexuality is. He was my first
crush, yeah. Absolutely. God. No, and I thought I had a bigger crush on Orlando Bloom than I think I did because I was like, wow, he was like so beautiful and like sure of himself. And he rode a horse. Like, see, it's like little girl bait.
It's true. Oh, it's true. If you're a horse girl.
I wasn't really a horse girl.
Until you met fucking Legolas.
But then I was like, oh, but he loves the animal. He's friend to the animals.
And I love the scene where like they're all at the Fellowship where they're all like showing up for Frodo and they're like, and he's like, you can have my bow.
Oh yeah.
And then Gimli's like, and my axe. And then you just Legolas's face and he's like, fuck. It's so funny.
So I actually just got back from New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Like a few weeks ago, and we did the Lord of the Rings. Like we went up to like the Trail to Mount Doom, which is the 7th most dangerous road in the world.
What?
It was the most terrifying. I was with my family. We were in like this van, and as we start to go up there, and it's like beautiful scenery, and the guide just turns around and is just like, by the way, this is the 7th most dangerous road in the world and the 1st most dangerous road in the Southern Hemisphere, and just keeps driving. So one way
does a road become dangerous?
Because it's this width of the van on the side of a mountain. like winding into the sky. And it's like, I mean, you're just looking off the edge of this cliff and it's a two-way fucking road. That's the worst part, is there's other cars come, and I'm like, there's like these occasional pockets where you can like back up and like sort of let another car pass. I'm like, this is insane all the way around. New Zealand is a country of very non-neurotic people.
Wow.
Not a lot of Jews in New Zealand, I don't think. And I was like, I'm staying in this fucking van.
Jew in New Zealand. Just pitch it.
New Zealand?
New Zealand?
And it's
oh
just
my God, pitch it.
I love
Jenny.
it. Wait, as a reality show of me living in New Zealand, or as like a sitcom, I guess?
At this point in this climate, we've got to be pitching to all networks for all concepts.
I love it. Let's do it.
You can't just ignore one concept over another.
Because like truly, like every activity in New Zealand, I was like, I will just kill myself and cut out the middleman. I don't want to do, like, why would I ever go paragliding?
I actually think New Zealand is a reality of you, and New Zealand is a good idea.
It's truly a country that is so beautiful and so not built for somebody with my sensibilities. Like, I just don't have the...
As scripted, it's Northern Exposure, basically.
Northern Exposure is my favorite, and everything I pitch ends up being, okay, it's this, but Northern Exposure.
Yeah,
like, I don't know if you've seen Neurotica,
it's really weird because Northern Exposure is... It's weird because it's not a show that people really know about in terms of like... It's not culturally relevant in any way. It's never got a reboot.
I bring it up all the time.
And every show I'm on or have anything to do with somehow becomes a reference for it because it is such a good model for that dynamic.
I've never been in a pitch where I have not brought up Northern Exposure. It's Neurotica is truly kinky. Northern Exposure is the pitch. And it's just me like playing with stuff I love about small towns, and I've never really lived in one. I just I love them.
Yeah.
New Zealand is 100% my Northern Exposure.
Yes.
Holy shit, I love this.
It's great. You have to take it and run with it.
Now I'm going to do this.
We did it. Okay,
so
soundboard.
This is just, so we're talking about Legolas and about safe.
No,
that was perfect. Welcome to New Zealand.
New Zealand. All right.
Like, but that's...
And then... Perfect.
I'll see myself out. But that's like the Legolas thing that the Data has, and like that I think is you can safely assign some like romantic fantasy there without having to deal with the reality of sex, which I think is very scary when you're a child.
Oh, so
correctly.
interesting.
So yeah,
I feel like maybe it is the safe aspect of it because like I had already had sex a lot because I'm older than you, and when I saw Legolas for the first time and redefined who I was as a sexual being, but like it's something about who like. Yeah, I guess it is a Data-y thing, but when I was young, it was Data, and it was like, I guess the idea of being like the, like breaking through, like it's like a blanket of snow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get are able to interact with a part of them that doesn't seem like they're there. Wow, this is getting deep.
No, but I think like this is also like it's setting up like unhealthy dynamics too later in life where you're like, oh, the fact that you're like kind of difficult to talk to, or the fact that I have to work really hard to like get to that, or like I'm the only one who can reach that part of you, and like that's something that as you get older you're like, oh, that's not romantic, that's stupid bullshit.
There was this idea, this still waters run deep idea that I had for a long time, and then I was like, oh no, still waters are puddles.
Yeah, exactly.
They're always puddles. If you look at nature, it's just a puddle.
Yeah, exactly. Deep waters also run deep. That's the crazy thing.
Deep water runs really deep.
Also, stillness has really nothing to do with depth. I just realized it's kind of a weird phrase.
But it's the stoicism is like, right. You know, we romanticize that. And it's funny that Data in this episode is like, no.
And Picard is way sexier, like truthfully. Because he's decisive, and he's Patrick Stewart, and he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
So
this episode, Legacy, is episode 6 of season 4. Netflix synopsis: the crew of the Enterprise enters into orbit around the home planet of their former crewmate, Tasha Yar, where they encounter her sister.
Another interesting thing about this episode when I looked it up, is that this is the point at which it officially surpassed the amount of episodes that had been produced of the original series.
Really?
Yeah. So this is the 80th episode, and that's the amount that they made of the original.
Well, that's also interesting because that means that I don't have to get through any more original series.
This opening is the perfect example of a Star Trek or Next Generation opening, where it's like they're all playing cards, but Data's too logical to play cards.
Let's listen to a little bit of this opening scene.
Love that visor.
Best poker face I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's an
Dealer
android.
takes 2. You're 3 and 10 more.
I get stressed about these.
I will see your 10 and raise you 20.
Are they playing a real card game or a space one?
Space.
Data, if you get a flush or a full house, it will cost you 20 to make that determination, sir.
That's hot.
Already.
Dealer folds.
You two have successfully divided the evening between you.
I suspect conspiracy.
They're all just giving
This,
one line of their
Far be it from
their
me
game.
to accuse my
Right.
superior officers.
You're getting harder and harder to bluff, Data. You've learned this game very well. Yes, sir. I believe I have.
And
Tell you
then
what,
Riker does this
I'll
weird.
bet that I can find any card that you hide in this deck. And
Magic
furthermore,
trick.
I will make you help me find
It's
it.
what the writers think is hot. Again,
Your guidance is much valued, counselor.
So I watched this when I was young. I remember this episode for a few key reasons. One, Tasha Yar's sister is like my 11-year-old self's like, I'm like, oh, that's what sexy woman is. Like, I was like, oh, I was like, that taught it, like imprinted on my brain of like, for probably the next like 20 years, I was like, that's what you have to be. You have to have really big lips and be white and be like skinny. So it definitely, for some reason, like in all my like sex fantasies, that's what the lady looked like. You know what I mean? Like, and then this scene where Riker performs this magic trick, he does the thing where he divides the cards. Data picks a card and then he puts it back in the deck, and then the cards get divided a million times or whatever. Not a million. And he ends up, Data ends up picking out his original card. I remember learning this trick because
of this?
Because of this. Not, I don't think because of this. Like somebody, I was talking about it with my friends and somebody knew it. It's like a pretty common magic trick, I think. Like it's not a hard one to learn. It's just like a counting thing.
Right.
So I like remember doing this to my parents. Like around the time this
I
episode.
love magic's something that I'm like the best audience in the world for because I'm endlessly thrilled by it, and it's something I'm always like half like, oh, maybe I want to learn magic.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't know, I'm like a woman and not a virgin, so maybe not. But like,
yeah, and there's no female magicians.
there
Really.
aren't. No, I was talking about this the other day. Like there aren't, and I think it's because it's such a aggressively a boys club in a way where it's not like,
yeah, you'd have to be the first.
you would still have to. Maybe that's my destiny.
I know, but like even I, who honestly in so many areas of my life have been the first, and I relish being the first in a boys club, magic would not be that place. I'd
But
be
that's
like,
the
I
thing,
don't
I'm
want
like,
to hang out with these losers.
That's exactly why.
I just do not.
It's so hard to like look at that and be like, yeah, I want to be the one woman in that like
Right.
weird room.
Trex listeners, what's standing between you and your happiness? Is it a person? Tell them to get out of here. Is it your own feelings? Sometimes it's your own feelings. Sometimes it's a neuron field. Sometimes it's a weird heater in your hotel room that only makes a loud noise and doesn't seem to emit any heat. But if it is your own feelings or your own emotions that are debilitating, you should talk to a professional about it. And if you're not sure where to start, BetterHelp.com. Online counseling is there for you. They make it easy to connect with a licensed professional counselor. These are caring professionals who specialize in the issues that you want to talk about. It's basically somebody who went to school to talk to you. They majored in talking to you. So you got to talk to that person, because otherwise they're just sitting around waiting for you to call. And they need you to justify their office hours, you know? So you should give them a call, and you can arrange FaceTime sessions, text with a therapist, and they're all over the world. And you can start communicating in 24 hours. How do you know what issues you want to discuss? Well, why don't you fill out the fun questionnaire? It might not be fun if you're depressed, but you need to fill it out, because I'm telling you right now, talking to somebody is the way to get the emotional ball of mental health issues, dealing with your mental health rolling. Get that emo ball rolling and go to BetterHelp.com. And for right now, Trex listeners can get 10% off their first month with the discount code. What do you think it's going to be? Neuron Field? No, it's going to be Trex. TREKS, Trex. So enter promo code Trex at BetterHelp.com for 10% off your first month. And assess your needs, get matched with a counselor you love, and one that you can always change to a different counselor if you need to. That's fine too. BetterHelp.com. What are you waiting for? I added that. That sounds like it's official, but I added it.
One thing about Star Trek also from a personal perspective is it was a great way for me to, when I started talking to a new therapist when I was a teenager, to sort of like, I knew she liked Star Trek because she showed me she had a Deanna Troi like collector's card thing, like because therapist, like, you know. So I sort of like found that kind of an easy way to express some stuff. Like most notably, like I have a really hard time like being angry about, I'm not like somebody who at the time really wanted to show any emotion. So I was like, it was really easy for me to think of it in terms of like a Vulcan thing.
Yeah.
Where I was like, it is so much easier for me to just kind of suppress all this and everything than to express a negative emotion to another person. And so that was like a really early like way that she and I kind of connected. So I do have a lot of like Next Generation love that in my head I ascribe to my old therapist. Yeah.
That's so, and Data also has been really influential and also very iconic in the autism community.
Totally, yeah.
And the like non-neurotypical world because he was that character and he was such a groundbreaking character for that community. So I love that. I love that so much. It's good that Veronica's not here because this whole time we're talking about Data being hot and sexy, she'd be talking about how much she loves Riker.
Riker's the other kind of crush that you can have. Like, I feel like
Veronica's all Riker.
It's all about which Backstreet Boy you were into. Like, did you like A Hint of Danger or not? And I didn't. So
yeah, no, I was all about I don't remember the Backstreet Boys at all. I mean, I remember their music obviously because it was so.
Right. It's just like, did you as a child were you drawn to that bad boy thing or not?
Not at all.
No, me either.
So not like Wesley Crusher all the way.
Really?
Love a Wesley Crusher.
He's been great for You Are Okay.
He has?
Yeah, he's been a huge supporter of it. Not Wesley Will Wheaton, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Will Wheaton has been very supportive of us.
That's awesome.
And helpful with that. So
yeah, I loved Wesley. I love how he always looked like he was just dipped in dew.
Yeah.
He's always like a little wet.
little wet child, I guess.
Like he's covered in chapstick. Love it.
My favorite era of movie is when everybody looks really sweaty. Mm-hmm. Like nobody figured out how to like put mattify anybody until like the mid 80s. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, I love it. So they beam down to this planet. Basically, the plot of this episode is that like I said in the Netflix descriptor that so they go down. Basically, there's just kerfuffle on a planet, and once again, there's a distress signal. The reason that the Enterprise and the Federation involve themselves in another planet's kerfuffle. Once again, even though the Prime Directive says that they're not supposed to,
they always get into these
fucking always do. Is that there's a Federation ship that's about to explode, and it does explode. And
then that doesn't directly violate the Prime Directive because that's a Federation.
It's a Federation ship. So so they're going to rescue their Federation friends, and then their Federation friends, for some reason, get into they do not for some reason because their ship's about to explode. They get into a shuttle and then just like get pulled into the gravitational orbit, and they're like, oh God, I hope that they don't go right into that area of the planet that's a war and that we haven't talked to them in 15 years. And then Geordi's like, I'm looking, and they are. so they had to go down there immediately to find them, and they're hoping that they can just find their shuttle and then get them out of there. Of course, that's not what happens.
It's never that simple.
No, it's never that simple. In fact, it ends up being a situation that takes about 45 minutes to resolve.
Yeah. It's amazing that happens. I'm sure it takes slightly more time in there, but like
in their reality. But in my reality, it was a good 45.
I really like that there is actually no internal logic to star dates. Like that's
right?
Yeah.
Isn't it just dates?
It's literally like William Shatner just made some shit up and like would forget what they said, and so he would just like say something.
Oh my
God. So they always kind of just like kept that thing of like
I learned so much about Star Trek on this podcast I have about Star Trek because I don't know any of this shit. That's incredible.
No, I love stories of William Shatner being a dick, and like that's a great one.
Didn't he murder his wife though?
William Shatner?
Yeah, she was an Olympic swimmer and she drowned in a pool.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's something that Veronica dug up.
I didn't know that. I'm going to be doing a lot of looking into that tonight,
because with all these Ted Bundy docs, it's easy to lose sight of the original Ted Bundy,
William
who's
Shatner.
William Shatner.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's still out making those Travelocity commercials.
Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, he's for a variety of reasons, not a
bit of a loose cannon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, the fact I like that. There was always sort of I think right now, I mean, it's just him and George Takei in a standoff, really. Like,
it's true culturally. Yeah.
Like, one of them's going to make it. And who's going to, I think, die first.
I think Takei's going to outlast.
I think
he seems like he's in great shape.
Awesome. He's doing awesome. Like, he's in such better shape than Shatner. And then Nichelle Nichols is going to outlive them all. It's going to be great.
Oh, I know. She's doing. She does conventions.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
I saw her at the last convention in Vegas that I was at. Just being there, just being amazing.
That's awesome.
And her booth was not overrun by fans.
That's crazy.
Well,
truly.
it was for parts of it, but the part when I walked by her, I was like, "What the actual fuck?" It's the Nichelle Nichols stand, and she's just not protected by 1,000 guards.
Wait. I have another Star Trek fact that I love. I feel like people don't know. Wait, do you know this? That Lucille Ball put her career on the line.
Nichelle Nichols, for people who don't watch the original series, was Uhuru.
That Lucille Ball put her career on the line to get Star Trek on the air.
That is something that we knew.
My favorite all-time fact.
Yes, I love that too.
It just makes me so happy.
If I ever have the ability to put my career on the line for anything besides just calling out TJ Miller,
I won't do it.
I'm not going to do it, to be honest with you. But no, I love that. Like, that's what our jobs are for.
Yeah.
Like, that's what our lives are for is that kind of a thing. And it's so rad.
Really, really love that.
It's so cool.
It's just so cool that she was such a huge Trekkie. Like, big fan.
The OG. Lucy, are you watching Star Trek?
Is that your Desi Arnaz?
It's my Desi Arnaz. Lucy.
It's like he's in the room. He just walked in.
Are you watching Star Trek again?
Desi, you're alive. Hi.
Lucy, I don't want to have a burn dinner because you only watching Star Trek again. So stupid.
No, this is really great. I love this.
Good?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, Lucy, there's a sound for this. I know it. Nope, that's not it.
That sounds like a Star Trek sound.
It does. This was the one. Lucy, stop watching so much Star Trek again. Come and give me a hug. All right, now we're in the 90s with I'm so old, Lucy. Stupid.
Oh my God.
Oof. Okay, this episode. So I don't know why I like this scene where they pull out this thing of Crown Royal.
This brief detour to the world of Alien.
They go down to the planet's surface. They go into they beam into this structure where they see that the shuttle pod has landed or crashed. They don't know. And to try to go on a rescue mission. Of course, they send the second in command, Data. Like, always, was Geordi there too? Like, the most important people on the Enterprise are always beamed down to the planet's surface.
They don't really
dangerous
do
mission.
red shirts the same way. Like, in the Next Generation, like, they don't bother to hire the
they
extras.
just don't
they just
ever
send
do.
the most important people.
And I'm always like, well, because they do it so rarely that if you ever see a red shirt, that means you know that they're going to die.
Yeah.
For sure. There's you're going to die. And a little bit it'd be like fun to be that extra because at least you get to die. You're
I
not
would love to die in
the
the Star Trek franchise.
Absolutely. Have you been watching Discovery, by the way?
I have not, honestly.
I know. God, I'm jealous of you.
Because I get to now watch it. I intend to. It is like on my list.
Perfect for somebody who is like totally an original series fan. Because it has and I'm so glad I'm rewatching original series while I'm watching it because so many of the themes from that series are coming back and they're exploring them more and it's really cool.
Are you very excited for the Young Picard series as a next gen person?
I did not know it was going to be a Young Picard series. I just knew there was going to be a new.
I thought it was like Young Picard with like Patrick Stewart is involved somehow. Maybe I misheard this.
Oh, I thought it was Patrick Stewart was involved in a new Star Trek show. I just had no idea what it was.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
if
that's
it's
what
Young
I heard.
Picard. I was like, I was thinking for a minute it was going to be young Picard starring Patrick Stewart, which would be so dope. If he just has a toupee.
I would love that so much. Oh my God, someone please do that.
Please fucking do it. Young,
Holy shit.
That's right, young Picard. Just me and I'm 26. Just fucking laying pipe. Just like fucking so many young women. It's like so dope.
Picard lays pipe the series. I love that. Wow.
It needs to happen. We've already thought of 2, 3, maybe really sellable shows.
I think we're onto something here.
I think this has been a good networking opportunity for us and our listeners.
And our listeners is the biggest thing.
They get a percentage.
Oh, good. Wow, that's going to be a really tough
It's
cut.
not lucrative for us,
No,
to
not
be
at all.
honest with you. But so this scene where they, so I was describing, they're down on the planet surface and they discover people in their leather jackets.
This man looks like if Brooks Wheelan was in a flock of seagulls.
Exactly like Brooks Wheelan. This man looks like Brooks Wheelan in
Wait, I'm taking a picture.
a Brooks Wheelan minute, which is, it looks like he's aged a Brooks Wheelan minute, though. He is wearing what I can assume is an apron, but maybe it's a boat neck t-shirt. It's like the opposite of a V-neck, where it's like a really high neck,
is,
but
it's
then
an
the
off-the-shoulder
shoulders are
number.
exposed. Okay, off the shoulder. And then he's got
He's got like a reject costume from Firefly.
That's exactly what it is. He fell out of the Firefly lot and
But
just
the
got
hair
cast.
is pure 80s.
Pure 80s, very feathered. And he's wearing this thick leather jacket. So they go down to the planet surface, they find these guys, and they've got some booty from, I don't know where it came from. They just like hijacked somebody's shipment of alcohol and they're like unpacking it.
Just discovered a large cache of weapons. I'm just trying to make things even
This is
to preserve
prior
the peace.
to.
You keep using the word peace. We've heard a different version of life on Turkana 4.
Oh, I think I might have skipped it.
Ancient
We'll see.
history. Where did you hear that?
A former crewman was born here.
Where's he now?
Oh, I need to go back a little bit, guys. Apologies.
Possibly. You may.
Oops. I gotta stop doing that. I always blame Veronica, but it's totally my fault. All right, here we are. It's the most jarring sound.
The Alliance is holding your men hostage, Commander Riker,
All right.
not us. You can expect the ransom demand.
Here's
The
Brooks
Alliance,
Wheelan.
Our good friends. Our good friends are going to be upset when they realize we took their last crate of Telluridan synthane.
Maybe I should take this to the authorities.
We are the authorities.
All right, just to pause really quick.
Our
The package of Tellurian synthite is a silver box of Crown Royal that they're opening up. And so that's the other Brooks Wheelan reference we're making here. Like, it is so funny. And then Riker's like, we're going to take it away. Why? Like,
So Riker can drink it.
like, I totally he does not need to confiscate this. Basically, the Prime Directive says you're not supposed to get involved in other you're not supposed to involve the Federation in any way. And so the first thing that Riker does always is he goes down to the planet. He's like, how could I disrupt what's happening? He's just trying to get information about where the rest of the crew is. But
This side of the city, the Alliance controls the other side.
This is
Take
like
your choice.
Star Wars space. Because it's like grimy space.
Right.
Phasers are in short supply down here. Our starship isn't going to miss a few.
So they want weapons, and you can tell that this episode and a lot of episodes in this season are like them thirsting for that Star Wars audience, where they try to get more action into the episodes, and
Star Trek is not an action
it's
show.
so not an action show, and so it's so goofy, and their efforts are really misplaced, guys. But eventually they figure out that these people are not going to help them, so they beam back up to the planet's surface, and then they find Tasha Yara's sister. They get a communication from these from Brooks Wheelan, and Brooks Wheelan's like, actually, we decided we're going to help you after all. Here's this person. This is Tasha Yar's sister, so she can come help you. And they're like, oh, awesome, great.
She is very beautiful. Her hair is so bad.
You could be forced into paying my adversary
That's
a
their
ransom and
explanation for
weapons.
why. Yeah, so
I'll do anything I can
Look
to
at
avoid
her
that.
high-waisted pants
and zero bra.
Propose.
I mean,
Ishara
it's
will
no
be
gravity.
our liaison.
Ishara is her name.
I know Alliance territory. I can help you with a rescue plan.
She sounds like a porn.
Yep,
Star
porn.
Trek.
Total porn.
I know the territory.
I do not trust
I know the territory.
She could be fake. We told a member of our crew was from the colony.
All Hain had to do was to search through their database.
Oh, his name's Hain.
Find Tasha's name.
Counselor.
He's deceiving us, and he's clearly hoping to manipulate us. As for the identity of the young woman, I can't really tell.
Nevertheless, this is an option we cannot neglect. We'll continue on other fronts as they present themselves.
I like when they decide the limits of her power based on
Right, exactly.
episode's needs.
Exactly. She's like, well, why have her say that? Like, I think the one thing is like they constantly don't have her on the bridge because if she was there, it would solve all the problems.
Yeah.
But then the other way that they go around like having that not be a plot disruptor is that they just have her there and then have everybody just ignore what she says.
Right. Well,
Like she's like, he's lying, don't do what he says. And they're like, cool. Anyway, we're going to do it. Like, what?
I wrote on a show that had a robot who could track people, and the big problem we always ran into is how do we make that malfunction or get that out of the way so we can give like some back and forth with the villain. They're not automatically like, oh, there he is. And like that was always like the thing. It was like, oh, it's not working this time.
Oh no.
But yeah, definitely this is a show where there's a lot of justification going on to be like, yeah, this person can lie now.
It's
like how the original series always would, and actually I think the Next Generation borrowed a bunch of the plot points where it's like, there are spores. They just make everyone weird.
The spores make everybody drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
And then everybody all the actors are like, great.
Yep.
I hear you loud and clear. I was wasted anyway. So they do that.
But for sure, like her fashion wise, like she's got like the men's blazer. She's like rocking a Murphy Brown look. I really love it.
She's got this hairdo that nothing short of iconic, because when I was little and I saw this haircut for the first time, I was like, what is even it doing? Basically, her hair is shoulder length and the mall bangs are like,
look at that.
The whole top of her hair is mall bangs. And then but it's like sleek and kind of just sprayed back. But it also somehow looks like it got that way while she was on a motorcycle. But then the bottom part is like just straight and then chopped. It's fucking hot, actually.
She's like kind of got like a Kirstie Alley vibe, and like, but it's really like the casual, like this jacket is tailored within an inch of its life. Like it's these huge shoulders and then just like this very tapered waist and then these high cigarette pants.
Yeah.
But like leather cigarette pants.
But they're cargo
with knee pads.
leather cigarette. Yeah, there's like a lot of. So the other thing I didn't notice when I was a kid, but now I see, is that they made a choice for her costume. They made a lot of choices, but one of the choices was silk shirt, absolutely no bra.
Yes,
just no bra for this person who is they
don't have time
soldier?
For bras. Like, they got too much going on.
I mean, like if I'm like a freedom fighter, I like don't know why I wouldn't have a bra on.
Well, the gravity is lower there.
Oh,
so it's not like you need it in the same way.
Yeah. Well,
there's definitely no bra. She's got sort of like a proto Leela thing. I'm like very sure this is an inspiration area for that.
No question. Yeah. So she's becoming friends with Data. Of course. He's showing her quarters here. Oh no, sorry. Sorry,
You
I'm
don't
wrong.
believe I'm Tasha's sister.
It's a. Sorry, I said your quarters because they walked into a room I hadn't seen where they walked in yet. Like, as though they were looking at me. The next screen was the entire cast, all sitting in chairs, looking at me, being like, "What did you say, Alice?" Anyway, Data's showing Ishara into a conference room full of everybody on the Enterprise, and they're like, "What do we do about this bitch?"
We have considered the possibility.
I'm not surprised. You can sample my DNA if you'd like. Yes, I will.
Please sit down.
So awkward. Whenever I walk into a room and I'm like, you can sample my DNA if you like. It's never like fine after that.
Perhaps it would help if you gave us some idea of what we're dealing with on Takana 4. The last information
His voice.
described a colony in almost complete disarray.
It's like a Toblerone.
Started falling apart almost 30
I want to
years
break
ago.
it off into little
There were dozens of
triangles.
factions.
Pyramids.
They fought until the city above ground was in ruins.
The Coalition and the Alliance are all that's left?
We were the two strongest factions. When the government couldn't stop the violence, they gave us police powers. The proximity detectors were originally designed by the government to keep us under control.
Right?
Apparently that part of the plan didn't work very well.
No. After a few months, we didn't need the government anymore.
Tasha left you in the middle of all that?
Data.
She didn't abandon
Jordy.
me, if that's what you mean. Tasha asked me to go with her, but I had already joined the Coalition. They were my family. Captain, we don't have a lot of time. Maybe we should get started.
Incoming transmission from the colony, Captain.
On screen.
Enterprise. I'm being held by Turkana 4 Alliance. I've been instructed to say that you have 20 hours to make reparations for Federation intrusions into this colony. Or my pilot and I will be killed.
Ask them if we can at least send some medical. Take that threat seriously, Captain. They'll torture them and then they'll kill them.
My cadre has never recovered a hostage alive from the Alliance.
ADR.
Your crewmen could be held in any number of places. The Alliance has 2 main headquarters and 13 ancillary bases of operation.
It's like people complain about the way that they do exposition on Game of Thrones and like put it in like a room where people are like having sex or whatever. But I'm like, this is the alternative.
Yeah.
It's just we put everybody in a conference room and we have people explain things.
This is concurrent with, like, almost concurrent with, like, West Wing. So we're about to see a walk and talk.
Yes.
And we're about to, like, understand the technology of walk and talk. And they haven't quite gotten to it yet.
Right.
So in the meantime,
but
we're all
that is a lot of Next Generation is people sitting around being like,
Yeah.
also this thing. You're right. The other thing you should understand.
But let's be clear. While we're doing that exposition, there's no reason to not give it a lot of space in between comments. And everybody should have a moment to react.
Yeah.
Because, and for whatever reason, there's no sounds in the background. And also no extras doing anything in the background. So I would like to say that
the flashing lights are doing a lot of lifting right now. There's a flashing light right there.
If there's a flashing light or an LCARS screen in the background, it's doing a lot of heavy lifting in terms of scenery. So I'm looking at her right now and I'm thinking like she actually is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. Like, I know that she's not, but like, you know, there's something about, and I'm wondering when this haircut is actually coming back. Like, are we going to see it? Because we've had the beach waves for kind of a while. It's been a minute for beach waves.
It's been a good moment for me.
Your hair is fantastic.
I can't pull off short hair, and I can't pull off like a really like choppy cut. I would always love to be able to, but like it isn't going to work on me. But like I feel like there are people now who can do the like Yolandi Visser, like weird people in the God, I hate to say, but Grimes. It feels like a thing Grimes would do.
I did a short bangs thing a little bit ago.
I wish I could pull
irritating
off
to maintain
short bangs. I think it always looks cool, and I'm intimidated by anyone who has them. The second I meet a girl with short bangs, I'm like, she's gonna be so mean to me. I'm so scared. She's way cooler than me.
And have they been? You tell me their names and their addresses.
I think everybody's cooler than me at all times, and like, but it's like always
that's part of your charm.
Oh, thank you. It's just
keep doing that. I'm just kidding.
No,
get some self-esteem.
just like deep anxiety. But it's like I don't know. Like
your brand is deep anxiety. Stick with that.
Okay,
that's
cool.
what Hollywood says.
It's like she has a very like Brooklyn coffee shop haircut. Like she can, like, you know what I mean? So
it's already coming back.
I think so.
Like I feel like if you walked into it's
like a sex mullet.
It's a sex mullet. So I've had mullet hair for a while, and now I'm looking at this and I'm like not hating it.
I think you could pull it off. I do think it's cool, but I also am like she wears anything with confidence. She's doing like a no bra silk shirt situation.
How big do my shoulder pads have to be at this point?
But I feel like just wear it. Like I think it's awesome. It's almost a drag look.
Yeah. I guess her bangs don't look as good now.
Are they bangs or are they like?
Right.
Is it like swept into like
bouffant.
It's a bouffant.
Yeah.
But I think you could do it as bangs and it would be very cool.
So this is the scene where she learns about how her sister died. And it's kind of funny, just because people are just like, yeah, that's what happened. All right, so she's getting treatment for her wounds.
It should take me a few hours to run the sun on
That smoky eye is gorgeous. Like a brown smoky.
Gates can rock
That
a
wasn't too
smoky eye.
bad. So all that's left of my sister is a file in a computer.
Data's like,
Tasha
and these
exists in
panties.
our memories as well.
How did she die?
Lieutenant Yar was killed on Vagra 2 by a malevolent entity.
In battle.
No. She was killed as a demonstration of the creature's power, without provocation.
Whoa.
Data, you're
not the guy to say this.
That's not how I intend to die.
Her lips are amazing.
I know.
You know who she is, and I
Captain approves. You're with us.
I know I work on Rugrats, so I like have like a particular. But she looks like Charlotte Pickles, Angelica's mom, like the badass business lady.
Yeah,
Alex
we've got a nod from Alec, who is a decade and a half younger than me, so he definitely watched Rugrats.
Do you
I'm too
see
old for
it?
Rugrats, guys.
Yeah, see, she's got this. She's got this going on.
A little bit, yeah. The strong jawline.
Yeah, she looks
sure. Yeah, magnify it. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's how I feel like I look, honestly, sometimes, and I don't hate it.
Great.
So, this is eventually they decide that they should go down to the planet's surface again.
Is it a
to try
giant
to
magic
rescue.
8-ball in the background?
And they, wait, where?
Go back a second. There's
Okay.
just like a big glowing. It looks like the magic 8-ball like screen.
Yeah. I wonder if they had laser tag when this episode, because I
This
feel like
looks
they
like it was
just
shot
shot
in an
everything in a laser tag, because they went to the Borg ship and it also looked like an elaborate laser tag. This is like a subway tunnel. No, this is a set for sure. This is on a lot. That's a regulation.
There, see, like back, it just looked like the screen of like one of those magic 8 balls.
Oh, like a the triangle thing.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like a big version
That's
of that.
their computer.
Yeah,
they're like, things keep going wrong. So they go down to the planet surface again, and there's like another melee, and then they have decided that Ishara will also go down with them, and the problem with, because she knows where everything is, she's like, I'll take you down there and we'll get, to your crew. But the problem with sending Ishara down there is that she has this weird sensor in her chest that's like
she's like an arc
homing
reactor,
beacon.
but it's like
all it does is tell people where
jagged
you
and
are.
yellow, and everybody has one in other colors.
Yeah, so if you're in the coalition, they put one in yellow in your chest, and if you're in the alliance, it's green. So there's these two warring factions on Tarkana, and the way that they know when each other are coming is that they have these weird little beeping things and set off each other's alarms, but they get them, they elect.
But it's also like, why do they have them? Why is it inside them and not like
never explained.
You could just carry a tracking device if you wanted it, or was it like forcibly implanted?
I think it was enforced. They said earlier it was forcibly implanted by the government, but then they overtook the government. So they all have them in. So like, I guess if they have new babies who are born, then they don't have them.
But like, then when somebody's near, it all like flashes. I'm like, there's got to be a better way to track people.
What do you mean?
Like they're not all looking at their like phones and being like, this person's close. They're being like, oh, my chest is glowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because they have to look down, you mean?
Yeah. And also just because it's like, that's very imprecise. It's just like a person is close.
Right, a person is close. But it's a person from like an enemy.
Right.
Like, so it's sort of like the sword of the orc sword.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Which, how much does that really help?
It's
like, oh, great, I'm fucked.
Right. It just seems like that they would have something a little more precise. I mean, we have Find My Friends. Like, at least have Find My Friends.
Yeah. It's like having Find Your Enemies, but in your chest.
Exactly. Which I do. I think like that the second like somebody approaches, I'm like, they're here.
It's true. It's already sort of like that. Like if I'm, females. Women have that sensibility a little bit as a survival tactic for predators.
I think so.
Mini aside, Wetterland style. I took a cake at a meeting today because I'm in AA, and there's this guy.
But you brought a cake to
no,
the meeting?
It's like they give you a cake for your birthday, but they don't actually give you a cake. It's just they sing happy birthday to you, and then you call it taking a cake. And so my 3-year anniversary, and this guy who gives the cakes at this meeting does this
Wait, this was today? Congratulations.
Oh, I got it I made it last Friday, but I took another one today. You do a tour for your whole week after your birthday.
Well,
you
happy birthday.
Thank you very much. There's this guy that gives, at this one specific meeting, there's a guy who gives cakes, and he's like, he is old and gross, and he like always touches women's backs when he does it. And I saw him do it to the girl who took a cake before me. And I was like, I don't want that. I just really don't want that to happen to me. Like, I just don't want. I was like, I had this reaction. I was like, oh, I can't have it. I can't have it. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, so weird that like we are, as people on Earth, like we know what that touch is and how it feels.
Yeah.
And the feeling of having it is so unwelcome and so violating, and like guys don't understand that, and I completely get why they don't understand that, because seen on paper it doesn't make any sense. Who gives a shit? It's just like a guy with his hand on your back. But I think with a tiny bit of context it starts to become like, oh yeah, okay, because you know what it's about. So anyway, I went up and took the cake, and I had all my friends hug me, and then I was like, and then they dispersed, and I go, okay, no more hugs, we're good on hugs. It was like my way of shutting him down. But anyway, I might have to cut this out because of anonymity, but I didn't say any names. So
everyone listening is just gonna be like, oh, weird touch man.
Oh, we know weird. Everybody has their weird touch man.
It's true.
It's their neighbor. That's right. Look out your windows right now, listeners. He's watching. So I like this scene a lot where
she's wearing a beautiful
Ishara has changed into she's put on a bra.
This is like American Apparel from like a few years ago when they were in its heyday, when they were making just like weird sacks for thin people to wear.
Yeah.
It's just like a beautiful teal sack, but it's like all one piece. It was never made for my body, and I've always wanted it to be. It's like just like a onesie. And
you should take one and fucking rock it.
Thank you. Do you think I could pull up just like a teal unitard?
Yes.
Thank you so much. That's
and I need you to, especially with that. The special thing about this unitard, I think, is that it has some sort of
the
padding in it, because I'm assuming there's a mic cord in there.
Yes.
And that's why there has to be texture, because if they could
you can
make her braless, they would.
They sure would. Well, you can also see there's like this little paneling of like a slightly darker blue. It's like, where did she get this? Was this regulation?
They made it. Or this is my other fantasy about the things they wore on this show. Is it somewhere out there? Like, was this a Bill Blass piece?
Oh, I would
because
love
I don't think they were spending tons of money. I think they were buying some off the rack pieces and combining them.
I mean, that's like a thing you wear under a ski suit. Like if she was, you know what I mean?
God,
like,
I'm dying. I'm so upset because like I've been looking for warm onesies for a long time, and for a while Patagonia had one. They stopped making them, and Polar Camping had one. They also stopped making them. They're basically like really useful if you go camping.
Are you a camper?
Yes, they have these. They're warm onesies, and they have a back flap so you can.
That's great.
But they kind of don't. It's like not a thing that they make anymore, I guess. But like I fucking love them because you just live in them for like 3 days,
right?
And it's really gross at the end. But you wash your armpits in between and everything. Anyway, sorry guys.
This is again like kind of a high fashion, kind of a drag look, I think. Like there's a club kid element to everything she's wearing that I'm really down with.
Yeah, and if you get cast in this part, you're like stoked.
Yes, absolutely.
You're like, yeah, I will put this on my resume.
And also just the fact that like she's becoming buddies with Data, and he like kind of doesn't understand. That's the other hot thing. It's like he doesn't understand. He's just overwhelmed with emotions. Yeah.
He's overwhelmed with what does he call them? Like synapses or whatever are firing in his neural cortex. But his what do they call it? A positronic cortex. So at this point, what we're about to watch, she has learned about her sister a little bit more from the captain. The captain was like, your sister wasn't all bad. She was like my favorite officer, and I hired her specifically, and she was really brave and awesome. And so we can kind of see that she's starting to soften up a little bit, and she's really interested in Data because Data was close to Tasha. And Data, like you said, is like really... they have this interaction where she's like, he goes, Tasha was close to Worf and Riker and also me. And she's like, can you have friends? And I wanted to be like, bitch, he just said, like, a second ago that, but so they become friends.
Next to each of the Alliance headquarters, it powers all of their defensive systems.
Maybe it is Banks.
This chamber is accessed from
Yeah, I think it is.
Entry points are evenly spaced along this wall.
I need a diagram of her bangs so I can be like pointing.
It's gorgeous. It's like a Grace Jones cover.
Data? Yes. Tasha's post.
Tactical station. Where Lieutenant Worf is now.
Her bot is slamming. I'm joining
it
that
is.
resistance.
Did Tasha have many friends here?
Yes.
This is the scene.
She was especially close to Commander Riker and Lieutenant Worf. And to myself.
And to myself.
Are you able to have friends?
He just said. Yes, bitch.
But you don't have feelings, do you?
As such.
Sorry, I do that.
However, even among
There's
humans,
so much space.
friendship is sometimes less an emotional response and more a sense of familiarity.
That's pretty cold.
You can become used to someone.
Exactly. As I experience certain sensory input patterns, my mental pathways become accustomed to them. The input is eventually anticipated and even
She's like trying to look interested.
My sister.
Yes.
This is what the writers think flirting is.
Yeah. Any interaction.
Any interaction where you become familiar. It's like, I'll wear you down over time.
Yeah. It's like you know how like a girl just saying normal stuff but in this super sexy way.
Yeah.
Like so you can imagine how often they feel they're being flirted with. Literally every day.
Also, the implication that because he was close to her sister, she's like, yeah, I also want to be close to you now. Like I feel like there's a girl code about that where it's like, absolutely not, dude.
Yeah. Well, but then again, her sister abandoned her, whatever, like 15 years ago.
This is like her way of being close.
Or
like,
also
look at this. This is a tight suit.
Yeah, so we do have a full-length view of the suit at this point, and I do think there's some ribbing.
There's some absolute boob padding.
Boob padding for sure, because her boobs before
were not. Yeah,
she was like maybe a large B, small C.
She's fully bodacious,
and she's
now.
like a DD. And Data's like duh.
I also think like the uniforms are like a hot thing, like as far as like Star Trek guys go. Like it's guys who are like have positions of authority and like are good at their jobs and stuff. So like that's the other reason that Data is and like Riker are appealing. And I do think they're two different kinds of, but they're the McCoy and Spock of this show.
Yeah, that's true. They are.
But you're not annoyed by Riker.
Not at all. Because Riker's so soft. I mean, he's a cheese ball more than he is a creepo patriarch. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like whenever Riker gets like too big for his britches, or he gets like, Riker will get into these situations where he's, he gets defensive, and it happens a lot, and then he gets shut down, and he's always like, I feel like he's always like, yeah, sorry, like a little bit. He's just like, okay, well, whatever. But it doesn't feel like with McCoy where it's this bubbling rage that I think he's going to take out on someone.
Oh, wow. Wow. I've never gotten
like
that from him, but
McCoy scares me.
This is really making me reassess something.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you've made me reassess, so
this is beautiful. We're just learning
touche
to
now at this point.
Yeah,
Is that what touche is?
It's just it is. Touche is when you reassess things.
No, touche is when you make somebody. It's like in kind. Like I don't know what it is.
You make somebody touche. Yeah,
you got touche'd,
and then you got touche
at them back.
Yeah,
right.
Thanks. Look at her collarbones, just glowing.
So this is her date with Data.
People took care of us for a few months, but then one day we came home and they were gone.
This is her audition scene. No quest.
So Tasha took care of me, and when I was old enough, I joined the coalition.
Tasha did not.
My sister hated the cadres. She blamed them for our parents' death. For everything. She refused to join, and she left as soon as she had the chance. I always thought she was weak for doing that. was wrong. Maybe she made the right choice.
Imagine being Brent Spiner and having to sit
It's a double.
several takes.
This is the most
To work
audition
together
scene.
for something besides killing.
It's like they forgot to rewrite it for the
Close to
actual show.
someone without
They just,
always
kept
having to
it.
protect your back.
This is her audition itself. This is the
I
screen
know,
test.
it just feels like that's all a green. It's green?
Appealing.
In the future, tables are lit like that because everyone looks good underlit. That's like a way we evolved.
It's always true.
You're the perfect example.
I can't wait for us to get to
I
that.
hardly even know you, Data, but already I completely trust you.
Why? He's done nothing to earn that.
I even consider you a friend.
Thank you. I would like to consider you my friend as well.
That means nothing. By the way, that means nothing.
The writers think that this is like how they know it's on.
Place 15 years ago. Things might have been different.
Huh? I like the Data's just like, cool. What?
Maybe it's not too late.
All right, so she decides in this moment, so they think, she decides to get her weird crystal taken out of her chest. We do have to wrap things up now because the other guests have arrived and I've gone over time a little bit.
Okay.
Where are we at? Okay. Well, we've got a little bit longer. It's not your fault.
It's
you
totally my
shouldn't-
fault. It's fine.
For sure not your fault.
I feel so bad.
You do not feel bad. You feel
Okay.
good.
I feel
You
good.
feel good. You're
Thank you.
excited.
Yeah, I am.
So before we go, I do need to show you this coat that I bought.
Yes, please.
It's completely not. We should wrap up our discussion of the show because something crazy does happen at the end. Were you expecting the twist at the end of this app?
Yes.
You saw it coming.
But I think it's like because of the amount of Next Generation I've watched. Just
Maybe.
the amount of like Star Trek I've watched. I was like,
Because
this.
you know that anytime, I feel like it's kind of a trope in this show at this point, that if Data gets close to something, it has to die.
Yeah.
Because it's happened with lore, it happens with, I think, other things at some point. It just isn't permanent.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't going to stay around.
Tasha died.
Like, I knew she wasn't a regular character.
Right,
so
right.
something bad is going
But
to happen to
sometimes
her.
on this show that like people will drop in and be like, great, we'll be friends forever. And then music plays and then they leave and we never see them again.
Yeah, that does also happen.
Do you want to come in and say hi?
Yeah.
She just has to.
Hi. Wow, speaking of amazing coats.
¿Cómo está, mi amor? Bien, ¿y tú, mi amorcito? This is
Hi, this is Veronica. Welcome to Treks in the City. If you're just joining us.
Oh my god, and you've got the like dots eyeliner.
Yeah,
I've been
she's
trying
doing
to
dots
perfect, but it
eyeliner.
like I can't make it work, but it looks gorgeous on you.
Oh, thank you. The dots?
Yeah.
I have dots eyeliner, guys. Hi, guys. How are you doing? How's listening to this episode so far? I'm talking to the listeners.
Oh, okay, you're talking to the
I'm not
listeners.
talking to you guys.
Okay. We love it.
I was like, we hope good.
Yeah. We've been doing our best without you.
Well, I'm sorry.
Alec's been
It's
listening.
okay.
But
I
he's
had a
not allowed
meeting.
to say what's been happening.
He's the mute.
I told him to
He's
stop.
the mute in
I
the
told him to
corner.
stop responding when I try to do bits with him because he keeps fucking it up. look at his hair.
He's over it. I know.
I told him it looks like a wig.
It looks like my hair.
No, it's
Your curls are better.
You have your waves. He's
Well,
curls.
no, not now, but like when I had it like that. You know, remember?
So this is Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi,
Nice to meet
Veronica.
you.
Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Of course. Thank you for being here.
I'm so glad you're here.
Such an hypocrite. I'm like, thank you for being here.
No, it's totally. We've been having a great time. I did feel like something was missing, so I'm glad you're here now.
Here I am.
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I don't know. God, mommies are fighting.
Don't get into this kind of hot waters because we'll bicker all night.
Yeah, we will. Don't set us against each other. So
How
we
are
were
you doing?
just going to wrap up this episode. And have you seen this one before?
Yeah, of course.
So this
I
is
watched
the
them all.
episode. Okay. So
It's the truth. It's the truth about this.
So here's something that I found
You're a
interesting.
sister.
Is that they said that this piece of the tracking device in her chest was going to explode when it contacted with air. So they found a way to extract it from her chest without having it explode. And then after that happens, they just have it out. Like, and I guess they're like, keep it, here it is. And I'm like, wait, wasn't it a bomb like 25 minutes ago? And now it's just not.
Well, it's fine now.
They never explained.
No, it's bejeweled.
Now it's just a
She's
jewel.
she's
and
just
plus,
bejeweled.
it's like this yellow crystal, and I love it. And I definitely want it to be a piece of jewelry.
You know what I'm shocked by? The fact that she's combed her entire hair back.
We talked about that, and we wonder
because it's so hard to keep. When I do that, my hair won't stay. I don't know how anyone keeps their hair all the way back.
But it's sprayed here, and then I think it's back combed, and then sprayed again, and then I do think that there's some pin in the structure here. We've been talking about this haircut
major
for a while.
hair
Yeah,
work.
it's pretty
amazing.
tight.
Well, I'm glad I jumped in on this too.
Me too.
She defies gravity in a lot of ways.
Sideways, like frontal.
She's just no bra
tits.
in like this very like
In the
unforgiving
first scene,
silk shirt.
it was like for sure no bra.
Really?
Yeah,
And she
absolutely
was like,
no bra.
and she looked great. Yeah.
And it was like nips all around, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm just a freedom fighter, not having a bra on."
Don't you ever like hug someone who had their boobs made for whatever reason? I don't judge that, but it's always shocking when you're like, "Oh, ow, whoop."
Yeah,
like it hurts.
I've never hugged anybody who had their boobs done.
Really?
See, bucket list.
I had a friend. Yeah, you gotta find them. You gotta really try to hug a bunch of women.
Los Angeles,
What's going
city
on?
of dreams.
Hashtag this episode.
Also,
Alice Boob Hunt.
Alice Boob Hunt. Hashtag Alice Boob Hunt for this episode. Let's find me somebody with reconstructed breasts so that I can hug them and see what it feels like. And also, what they get out of it is a hug from me. So
it's just hard.
Win-win.
It just feels hard. Also, just to put that image in everyone, who's listening, it's just when women hug.
I'm glad we got
the
there.
4 boobs go, well, okay.
I was also about to show Jenny. So it turns out in the end of this
Alex
episode,
just like giggles in the back.
so in the end of the episode, it turns out that she is a turncoat, and we were discussing how every episode with Data gets close to somebody, of course, that person has to either die or betray him,
Right.
Or both.
And so this episode, did she die? No, she just betrayed him and went back to her. No, because she put on her no bra shirt later. So she betrays everybody, and it turns out she was just pretending to be friends with Data and also everybody on the crew. And the funny thing is, like, everybody on the crew was like, yeah, we love you. We want you to be on the ship at all times. And in the beginning of this entire interaction, Troy was like, hey, they're lying to us.
Yeah. She was like, I can't tell specifically about her, but this seems like a lie.
And we shouldn't have them come aboard. And they're like, well, but let's see anyway. And then she just totally did her spy shit. So if they'd have listened to Troy, episode number 1100, where they should have listened to Troy. So the scene in the end where she says goodbye to Data after having betrayed everyone.
I'm just shocked by this pause that you have, like how straight that back of the hair is.
It's incredible. We might take a picture of it.
Impressed.
Look at this hair work, people.
And I don't even use the word shook at all. I'm like,
it is like a very like strong I feel like it's built around something, like a bump it
That's
situation.
what I'm thinking too.
Or
maybe it was just a helmet they put on her. And they put hair on a helmet. And then they, put it on the actress.
It's beautifully shaped.
So they have this farewell scene after she's been revealed in front of O'Brien, which I think is kind of
look at her perky no bra. Yeah.
I'm sorry if I hurt you in the process.
Pretty perk.
I'm an android. It is not possible for me to be injured in that fashion.
Oh, now you're an android.
He's also
Whenever you're ready.
an android.
I like that O'Brien's also there.
Yeah.
Cool, guys.
He's there for a lot of these scenes, though. He's used to people having dramatic goodbyes.
He really witnesses so much drama. It's like airport drama.
This is great. So she says, Data, I wasn't always lying to you.
That time we spent talking, that was the closest thing to friendship I've ever had.
Really laying it on thick.
Okay.
And he's so cold here. I love it.
That means anything to you.
Nothing means anything to me.
Energize.
Let the droids be droids.
Wow.
Nobody's gonna say let the droids be droids. That was amazing. Only Alec got that. Okay.
I really appreciate it.
So,
it's not something I would.
Now that we got to the end of this, I can show you this coat that I bought, which is in my car right now. But I daren't wear it because it was raining outside today.
He does have this scene where he describes what friendship is to Riker.
And go ahead with.
No, he just comes and he's just like, I guess I do think about her in my neural cortex sometimes.
Oh yeah,
if that's
what the wrap up.
If that's what missing means, which he knows what that is.
Yeah, friendship. Like he knows that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's season 4.
I know.
I thought
he's
you
been
were
through all
pulling
this
a bunch
already.
of penises.
No.
From afar, that's what it looked like.
Gorgeous.
Look
What
at
is
it.
this?
It's this trench coat that I bought.
Rock.
So it's like this
Wow,
coat
Alice.
that I found.
You're such a fancy
that
bitch
I'm
sometimes. You're
obsessed with.
such a
I'm such a,
Taurus.
you know what I am? I'm a fucking Carrie, dude.
Yeah.
I can't even deny anymore. Forwarding to retailer.
How long did you
Like,
deny it for?
A long time, because I wished I was a Miranda.
What?
Yeah, I wanted to be a
That's
Samantha.
the
or a
correct person to want to
It's
be.
true. It's the 29. It's
Samantha.
the 28th thing
No?
choice. 28th thing.
28th thing choice.
Happy New Year! 28th thing.
It's also wait. We tried to say 2019.
I was trying to say 2018 for some reason,
also not correct.
is
Today
also
I
not
signed-
correct. And I said 28th thing.
Today I signed something 2017, and I realized it's because I only knew the part of that it was to avoid 18.
Well, you went
Yeah, because you never want
it
to
was
go.
a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, it's like either front or back.
So you see, it has 3 coat layers.
Oh
it
my
looks
God,
like you're
that's
wearing
so
3
cool.
coats.
Well, it looks like you have a shirt. It looks like you layered the shit out of your outfit, and you're just
It's like, yeah.
naked underneath.
I really
and the
like
thing
that.
is, these sleeves, you can see it on the model. They haven't really styled it properly because they're really long and oversized. So you scrunch them up, and they're these huge poofy sleeves.
You look like
and then
April.
you tie this a little tighter, and it's like
It's like John
obsessed.
Bender from The Breakfast Club, but make it fashion.
It was not that much money.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, because I get those credit card points.
Exactly that. Well, what credit card points are we talking about?
We had a whole points conversation at the top of the show.
Guys, if you're just joining us, they're gonna update me on this.
We always say if they're just joining us, which no one should ever be just joining
It's
us.
a podcast, so
At the end of the show.
this is never happening.
Guys, if you're just
No one's
tuning
like,
in.
oh, let me tune into the last 10 minutes of this podcast.
I only like the
See what
last
I
10
meant?
minutes of this one.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't blame you if you like the wrap up. It's a great wrap up. But if you're just tuning in, I just got the Capital One Venture Awards card, which gives you 2 times points on everything you buy and 10 times points on all reservations made at hotels.com. Plus, I'm an Ebates stan, so
I am
just saying.
so
there's a whole
shocked.
You almost said shook.
No, not shook. Shocked.
Yeah, you should be.
I'm shook at the haircut. I'm
Yeah.
shocked at how many just brands you just mentioned.
Yeah, I am. And they're none of them are supporting this podcast.
Yeah,
They should be.
That's what I'm saying. Like hotels.com. What are you, a dad?
Thanks. I am. I'm a cat dad.
Yeah, you are.
Jenny Jaffe.
Thank you so much for having me,
Thank
guys.
you so much for being
wasn't long
here. It
enough.
was such a pleasure
This
for
was
me
so
to have
fun.
you.
It was so nice getting to know you in particular.
Going into a deep dive with Veronica, as you have
Thank
done.
you.
And
I feel like we left this episode being friends.
Yes, I do
did.
too. Yeah.
And we
glad
would
we
love
agree
to
on so
have you
much.
back.
Thank you.
We would really love to have you back. I
Thank
just
you.
had such a
She
really
mostly
great time.
because she
I
has
would love to just so I can, figure what
You'll have to go back
all
and
the fuss is
listen
about.
to
I want to know what all the fuzz is about.
I also like your little sparks, your inner eye sparks.
thank
They're
you so
wonderful.
much.
Yeah, see?
Oh, man,
Little
see?
details.
I love this.
We
Yeah.
could have, we should have, we could have, we
We
would
should
have.
have, we could have, we would
could
have.
have.
But now it's too late.
Oh yeah, I have 3 rings.
Oh my God.
I got married.
Oh my God, Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
You just
like
kissed my
sucked the
ring.
diamond
I guess
off.
I am a queen.
Aww.
They look
or
beautiful.
like a mob boss.
Jose's mom made these.
She
My mother
made them?
Yeah, she's a jeweler.
Oh my God. That's a great person to have in the
She's
family.
a jewel.
It's the hardest word for me to say.
It is, isn't it?
Murderer, girl. Those are not words that I say.
My friend's mom was Brazilian, and she was like, I can't say that word, mundo. How do you, wow. She just never got to the end.
Murderer?
World.
She just continued it. It never ended.
I was like, she was like, wow. And I was like, say were. And she's like, where? Say d. Say old. And she couldn't do it. So, wow.
It just fades away. Like those songs that fade away.
Yeah.
Those are poorly done. Just finish your song.
Figure out a way to finish a song,
We Are
dipshits.
the World would have been a very short song.
We are the world.
End of song.
End of song. It's more of it's like a text tone.
Isn't it funny that the song "We Are the World" is also like an endless song, just like the word "world"?
Yeah, that's why.
True. Or it's a small
We
world.
are the world.
It's a small world. It's a
so I
small
can't
world.
I can't say the word jeweler. Jeweler.
Jeweler.
It's a jeweler.
Jeweler.
A jeweler. A jeweler. It's like a jeweler.
I knew what you meant, though.
But yeah. She said
You
jeweler.
can say jewel.
Jewel. Yeah.
Jeweler.
Jeweler.
Okay.
Jeweler.
You got it.
A jeweler.
These are perfect. Yeah.
A jeweler?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You're a jeweler.
Yes.
Well, I'm not.
such a jeweler.
I'm just a Jew. It's different.
Yeah, jeweler.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought of a show we're going to pitch called New Zealand.
Oh, it's
And just
this.
me living in New Zealand.
It's
how do
just
I
Jaffe
react
in
to
New
this?
Zealand. And she's going to be a...
How do I react to this? With glee.
What is New Zealand?
I'm living in New Zealand and doing like adventurous stuff. And
people
like
Jewish in
a
New
neurotic
Zealand?
no,
Jew.
nobody's a new
Really?
I really don't
And
think
they're
so.
just
no
really
New Zealand
relaxed about
Jews?
stuff. And
They're
they're like,
just they're very relaxed.
Get on the
really
hang
appreciate
glider.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you want to get... Yeah, just go in the hang glider. And you're like, what are these straps?
I don't even know who's from New Zealand. I guess,
Okay.
like Frodo? Aren't they all
I
shooting?
don't even know who's from New Zealand these days. You know what I'm saying? These kids, I don't even get it. Who's from New Zealand?
No,
Did you just look up who's from New Zealand?
Yo, I need to Google
Are you
who's from New
Googling?
Zealand.
Are you on the Wikipedia of Jews of New Zealand? Wow.
What have you found?
There's everything in this world.
Is that even right?
In 1831, there were 61 Jews in New Zealand.
Oh
That is
my
a full
god.
country of how many millions?
That's what, like
I am
5
scandalized.
millions?
That is 5 millions. There's not even a sixth one. No, 61. There's 6 millions.
6 millions. I'm really bad at math.
Just 10. Times 10, right? 10? You don't need 12.
No.
It's not complicated like that. They made it easy for
You
for
can.
the
I mean, you
simple
already
folk.
broke the fourth wall.
Like, if you
Alec,
have
you can
managed to
talk.
keep your 10 fingers, you can figure it out. If you don't know anything, right? So there, but 61 is like kind of sad for that
the one guy.
we do have to wrap up.
You think
so
they
we're
have
gonna
like
go out.
do you think they have several types of Judaism there? Or it's just like one.
I feel like
You have
they're
probably
only
all very
reform.
reform. Yeah.
You have to stop talking to Jenny though, because we have another guest.
Our guest is outside, actually.
Our other
I
guest
will
is
let you
outside.
leave you guys to
we
your
have to
other.
take a picture.
Wow,
But we're
you
gonna
have
go
a
out.
wonderful blazer. What is
Thank
this?
you so
Isn't it
much.
great?
I came accessorized. I was like, this is going to be too much for a
Okay,
podcast.
I keep
and then
telling
didn't.
you to wrap it up, and then you keep.
We're getting along.
I know you
This
keep
is
lingering.
friendship like
this
Jada
Maybe,
found out
maybe
about.
it'd be funny, Alec, if we do just fade out, like at some point.
Can you fade us
during
out while
this
we keep
Someone has to
talking?
say the
Just
word
like-
world first.
Yeah, world. It's a small. Oh, okay. All right.
It did not go your way.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcasts.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep up with the latest Forever Dog news by following us on Twitter and Instagram at Forever Dog Team and liking our page on Facebook. Hey there. Congratulations. You made it all the way through that episode. Wow.
We did not think you were going to be able to do it.
It
We
was
barely
touch and
could.
go.
Yeah. Anyway, now that you did, Michael and I have a pretty cool surprise for you. We are going to get high.
What?
Come
What are
on,
you
let's
talking
light
about?
up that joint, baby,
No,
with our
Colin,
listeners.
what are you, that is not what we do. Literati is a podcast about books. What? It's not about getting stoned.
I thought we had a special treat.
You
for
don't even smoke weed. You freak out.
Yeah, but
and
I was
get paranoid.
I thought we had a special treat or surprise for the listeners who made it to the end of the
Yeah,
episode.
we're gonna play them a clip from our show. Not how would we get everybody high? That doesn't even make
Honestly,
sense.
I didn't. I don't really listen to podcasts. I didn't know if
That's
they.
true.
I'm guessing they had the technology to do
no,
that.
they
Yeah.
don't. That's such a weird.
No, Colin, we're not going to get anybody high. We're not getting high.
Okay.
I actually think that you shouldn't be promoting that on this podcast.
Yeah,
to
okay,
tell people
fine. But if you want to get high at home, sure, do it, but we're not promoting it.
That's neither here nor there. We're going to play a clip from our podcast with Josh Sharp. So just listen and enjoy that.
And get high.
What? And with that in mind, we'd like to take the pressure off of us for a second and introduce you to the reader of today. He's a recent NYU dropout, and we know that means a recipe for success.
Oh, yes, indeed. Dropping out of school and into our hearts, we have young novelist and self-proclaimed genius, Clint Dimples, for you. Enjoy.
Hello, my name is Clint Dimples, and this is a piece of short literature that I call The Story. There was once a girl with deep brown hair who lived with her grandfather in a small cabin upstate. Though her parents, who had been professors, died 8 months before in an automobile accident while returning from an academic conference on the viability of the universal basic income, the girl was of a happy sort, her optimism only fading to melancholia on nights such as these, when the rain shuddering at the windows made her wish for her mother's arms. Her grandfather, a wiry man with a great beak of a nose, had just climbed the old stairs to her attic bedroom when he heard her quiet sniffles. "Is everything all right?" he asked the girl. "I'm just having trouble sleeping," she said. "It's hard sometimes." "Yes, I know," said the grandfather. "Maybe a story would help?" The little girl nodded, and so the old man began. There once was a girl with deep brown hair who lived with her grandfather in a small cabin upstate. Though her parents, who had been professors, died 8 months before in an automobile accident while returning from an academic conference on the viability of the universal basic income, the girl was of a mostly happy sort, her optimism only fading to melancholia on nights such as these, when the rain shuddering at the windows made her wish for her mother's arms. Her grandfather, a wiry man with a great beak of a nose, had just climbed the old stairs to her attic bedroom when he heard her quiet sniffles. "Is everything all right?" he asked the girl. "I'm just having trouble sleeping," she said. "It's hard sometimes." "Yes, I know," said the grandfather. "Maybe a story would help?" The little girl nodded, and so the old man began. There once was a girl with deep brown hair who lived with her grandfather in a small cabin upstate. Though her parents, who had invented the soda stream, were murdered 8 months before while leaving a Papa John's pizza in Bridgeport, Connecticut, the girl was of a mostly happy sort, her optimism only fading to melancholia on nights such as these when the rain shuddering at the windows made her wish for her mother's arms. Her grandfather, a wiry man with a great beak of a nose, had just climbed the old stairs to her attic bedroom when he heard her quiet sniffles. "Is everything all right?" he asked the girl. "I'm just having trouble sleeping," she said. "It's hard sometimes." "Yes, I know," said the grandfather. "Maybe a story would help?" The little girl nodded, and so the old man began. There was once a girl with deep brown hair who lived with her grandfather in a small cabin upstate. Though her parents, who had been professors, died 8 months before in an automobile accident while returning from an academic conference on the viability of the universal basic income, the girl was of a mostly happy sort, her optimism only fading to melancholia on nights such as these when the rain shuddering at the window made her wish for her mother's arms. Her grandfather, a wiry man with a great beak of a nose, had just climbed the old stairs to her attic bedroom when he heard her quiet sniffles. "Is everything all right?" he asked the girl. "I'm just having trouble sleeping," she said. "It's hard sometimes." "I know how that is," said the grandfather, "with the trouble sleeping." "Is that why you sleep on the roof?" the little girl asked. "Yes, that's why. That's why I sleep on the roof." "I see," she said. "And no other reason," he yelled. "Okay, cool, fine," said the girl. "Will you tell me a story?" "Huh?" said the old man. "A story. Oh, yeah, sure, right, story, yeah. Oh, I can do that." And so the old man began. There once was a girl with deep brown hair who lived with her grandfather in a small cabin upstate. Though her parents, who had been professors, died 8 months before in an automobile accident while returning from an academic conference on the viability of the universal basic income, the girl was of a mostly happy sort, her optimism only failing to melancholy on nights such as these when the rain shuddering at the windows made her wish for her mother's arms. Her grandfather, a wiry man with a great beak of a nose, long, pointed, and yellow, like a beak, this nose, like a big fucking beak. Her grandfather, the man, had just climbed the old stairs to her attic bedroom when he heard her quiet sniffles. "Is everything all right?" he asked the girl. "I'm just having trouble sleeping," she said. "It's hard sometimes." "Yes, I know," he said, scratching at his big fucking beak nose. "Maybe a story would help?" "Sure, Grandpapa, but what's happening to you?" "Whatever do you mean?" he asked. "Your nose, it's turned into a beak like that of a bird." And sure enough it had, the nose, ossified into a large yellow beak. "Squawk," said the grandfather. "Squawk, squawk," as feathers, deep blue and red feathers, began to shoot out of his back. "Squawk," he said. "Squawk." Why, grandfather, the little girl cried, you're turning into a bird! A real fucking bird with a giant fucking beak! It's amazing! His feet now claws, he reached over and stood atop the girl's wrists. Then he flapped and flapped until he started to rise, over the bed, clutching the small girl beneath him. His great wings swatting at the walls, he tilted his feathered crown forward and burst, beak first, out of the large attic window. The girl hung below him as they made their way up, higher and higher, until the house was but a speck below them. She looked up. Thank you, Grandpapa. Thank you. Thank you for transforming into a big fucking bird and taking flight. And then the old man let forth a mighty squawk, spread his wings wide, and the two soared off into the warm night air, floating and finally free. The end. What a lovely story, said the little girl. But I must ask, was the grandpa in that story, the one who turned into a bird, was he supposed to be you? Me? The old man replied. Whatever you mean. I mean, said the little girl, that maybe it is you who wants to be a bird? I'm asking in part because I know you like to sleep on the roof. I told you about that already. I just do that because I like it. No other reason, he shouted. Well, sure, said the girl, but the way in which you chew my food up for me and our winter trips down south, it just all makes me think that maybe you want to be a bird for some reason, which, to be honest, is sort of a ridiculous notion given that you're a grown man. And so if you actually want to be a bird, well, I don't know, maybe you're just crazy. Okay, story time is over, said the old man. I'm turning off the lights now. It's time for bed. He pulled the chain on the lamp and all was still. I know you have to use the ladder in my room to climb onto the roof, Grandpa, said the little girl. So you can turn the lights back on and get it if you want. Okay, I'll turn them on just because I want to turn them on. How about that, said the old man, fumbling for the chain. There we go. They're on. The lights are on. Oh, and look, it's the ladder I need to get on the roof. I better go up there to check on some of the tiles and the roofing and other things. Not to sleep, just to, check it out. I trust you won't mind turning the lights off once I'm up there, just in case I take a while. No, Grandpapa, of course not. All right, he said, here I go, up the ladder to check on the tiles. Night-night, I'm almost to the top. Shutting the hatch behind him, the old man sat down on the roof, pulled his knees to his chest, then looked up to the sky and quietly sobbed. A pigeon landed on his shoulder, and the man gently scooped the bird in his palms and pulled it close. Not today, he whispered, snot running down his face. Maybe someday, but not today. The end. What a sad story, said the little girl. I feel sad for the man in that story who told that other story, the man who wanted to be a bird. Yes, the old man replied, but sometimes it is the sad stories that give us comfort, that remind us of how lucky we are to have what we have. Your parents left you with a great fortune, and you should take solace in that. She nodded. Yes, but I still miss Mom and Pop. She paused. Grandpa, do you think they'll ever find who murdered my parents in front of that Papa John's Pizza in Bridgeport, Connecticut? The grandfather thought for a moment. No, I'm almost certain they will not. He drew in a labored breath. I was very careful. The girl looked up at him. You were what? I said I was careful. He stood up over her bed. And what's more, I'm not like the old man in that story, pretending to be something he's not. It's time you know who I really am, little girl. I murdered your parents outside of that Papa John's Pizza in Bridgeport, Connecticut. The girl pulled back towards the wall. You what? Why would you do that? Because I wanted that SodaStream money. And with them gone, now only you stand in my way. In one quick motion, he removed the knife from his sleeve and plunged it into the little girl's chest. He pulled her close to his face and whispered, Let me hear you squawk before you fly away, little bird. Let me hear you squawk. Stop, 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 the little girl shouted. I don't like it when the stories turn scary. I'm sorry if I gave you a fright, said the old man, catching himself. I just thought a little adventure story might take your mind off things. Yes, but a story about a man who tells a story of some other man who lies and yet another story as a way of revealing that he's murdered a little girl's parents when I'm here sad about my parents? What are you thinking, you old kook? And what was all that bird stuff? You're right, the old man replied, standing up from bed. I guess I just got away from myself. He backed out of the room. Good night, it won't happen again. He opened the bedroom door and tumbled into the dark, empty vacuum of space. The house fell away from him and he slowly drifted, naked now to his boxer shorts, earth far off in the distance. A chorus of male voices, hundreds of them, came at him from every direction. You've done well, my good and favored son. Squawk. Know that you are good and strong, and that your cock is mighty and powerful. Squawk. And as he crossed into the black hole, his every atom splitting into more energy than powers our sun, his frozen form on the event horizon trapped for eternity was that of a man, arms spread wide and reaching for something greater. The end. I don't get it, said the little girl. Come to think of it, said the old man, me either. He gave her a kiss on the head. A nightingale landed on the windowsill. He pulled out an old Luger he'd stolen from a Nazi during the war, and then he shot the bird dead. The end.
Don't forget today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp.com. Is BetterHelp.com the whole thing? No one's here. I'm alone in a hotel room by myself. And that's something that used to give me a lot of anxiety. Actually, I was usually fine with being alone. It's other people. That's my ish. But I was able to get over my ish with the help of a licensed professional. That's why I'm urging you today to go to BetterHelp.com so you can get matched up with a therapist that can start helping you unpack your issues, whatever they may be, alone in a hotel room or in a hotel room with people. By the way, my issues were not that I was in a hotel room with people. It was just other people dealing with them, etc. All right, BetterHelp.com. Enter code TREX for 10% off your first month.